Hi guys, my name is Soraya and I'm a professional tarot reader. If you're here visiting my channel, first of all, thank you. If you're noticing a little movement down here, this is my little pooch, by the way, who's decided to join us today. I just want to set my stall out about why I decided to do this video and to give you an idea about what the subsequent videos will be about. I noticed there is a huge hole in regards to people being able to find the right information from how to become a hobbyist tarot reader into a professional one. I have been really fortunate over my career that I've been able to do tarot part-time and also concentrate on my career. Unfortunately now I don't have to. I do tarot, full-time. But in the first instance, I went through a great deal of sales training, and that training provided me with the information on how to ask the right questions, how to actively listen. I am an empath anyway, but just to kind of really hone in on that. And I think sometimes good readers aren't necessarily good communicators, and I think that's where people fall down. There's plenty courses out there, pay £40 and get onto my online classes on how to become a tarot reader. Great! Isn't that fantastic? It saves you reading the big thick books that are very complicated to understand, and even just looking at right away at the 78 cards, for God's sake. You've got your major, your minor, you've got your suits, you've got all the different symbols, the root energies, the essence of the god. Jesus Christ, head explodes. So those courses are really good for that. But who actually tells you how to communicate well with someone and deal with customers who are difficult? And I think that's where I really want to try and help people. When I started working in the beginning, my first job on a psychic line, I went through a test read, and that test read was obviously to make sure that I could do what I said I could do. And we had a call. It was obviously easy peasy. They weren't difficult with me. They weren't purposely trying to catch me out. It was just a very A to B conversation. Voila, I got the job. But it's a bit like when you learn how to drive. You don't actually learn how to drive properly until you're out on the open road on your own and you have to make decisions. And I feel it's very much the same for a new tarot reader. Which is why there's three main things I'm probably going to cover in my subsequent videos. One is know your style as a reader, and what I say by that is, very clearly, I am not the conventional 40-year-old woman. I'm very into rockabilly, traditional Sailor Jerry style tattoos, and I love my big hooped earrings. That is not because I'm trying to look like Gypsy Lee Rosa. It is just because I love the hoops. And I think it's important that when you're deciding where you want to go, that you're very comfortable in your own skin. If you want to have a persona, that's fine, but just bear in mind that authenticity is really important to people. And what I mean by that is, if somebody doesn't already know you and know that you're a genuine person and knows that you're a good reader, they have to then want to like you. And like doesn't always equal business. So they have to like you and also trust that you can say what you say. Rephrase that. Can you do what you say you can do? And that's the difficult one. It's great if you've got friends and it's, oh, do me. But where do you get the new customers from? And what do you do when you get the customers who are difficult? So style is important, as I say, because you have to be comfortable in yourself. Because if you have a character, for example, it's easy to fall out of that. And I think that can really diminish the trust. So there's my number one. Number two, of course, knowledge of tarot is also important. The reason it's so important is you can get yourself into sticky spots, especially doing a general read where the card doesn't make sense and the client doesn't understand it either. So by knowing, for example, the numerology of a card, so the card itself, the root energy of a card may make no sense to you, but the numerology does. So therefore, it might just be a key word to it. But, for example, the Five of Swords doesn't resonate with the client, but fives equals change. The change does. So you can really get yourself out of some tight jams. I often get aspiring readers book a read with me. I can spot them a mile off after so long, and they are as difficult with me as they possibly can be, and they always ask for general reading. They won't provide any information and ask just to see what comes up. That's no problem. I have the experience to be able to deal with that situation. I've had lots of practice. Probably speak to 20 clients a day. You times that over 7 days a week over several years. You know, that shows you how many scenarios and different types of personalities that I've dealt with. But I think the reason they do this is because everyone seems to be scared by the general read, especially when you could be working on certain platforms where really the question you get asked all the time is, will this person come back to me, or will my relationship work out? So it's very, very easy to actually get stuck in the comfort zone, let's say, of always being asked the same particular question. So then someone could really run rings around you if they ask you a completely different question and you don't know where to go. So what I would say is a general read shouldn't actually be scary to anybody, because if you know the cards well enough, all we are doing as readers is relaying to the customer, client, what the card says. So really it shouldn't be a worry to us that we're getting it wrong, because we're here to be the interpreter. I mean, all the cards tell the client is what their subconscious already knows, but we have to convey it in a way that makes sense to them in order for them to be able to take that information from the question, digest it, and know and understand how that relates to them. That's when the accuracy will always help, because when you know the cards as deeply as what I do and many other readers have had to do over the years, you then have the pleasure of that feedback of knowing that extra knowledge has really taken your good read to exceptional because of the accuracy that we've managed to develop. So yeah, knowledge is power. Knowledge is the superpower. It is everything. And if we were in paid employment, so if you're working for a job, let's say you worked in a bank, you would always be getting different training programs and learning how to use their systems, how to deal with this and that and t'other. Same has to go when we're self-employed, guys, because you know there's always going to be someone better, there's always going to be someone working harder, and you know keeping our clientele is really important, so you have to put the work in. And the other thing I would say is communication. You can be an absolutely awesome tarot reader. You can understand all the different elements of the tarot. But if you're not good at talking to people, you're screwed. Especially if you're working on a line, for example, because all you have is that first couple of seconds to make your impression. And you know, I've been there in the beginning. You know, my reviews, my reputation speaks for itself now, but I still work really hard to generate a good impression in order to continually meet and deal with new clientele. So some of the other things I'll cover in the videos is things like how to introduce yourself, how to gain a good rapport with people, how to establish trust, how to set the intention of how the reading will go, how to ask the right questions, i.e. open questions, hypothetical, situational questions, how to use bridging statements to get you from one scenario to another. I literally could go on. And these are things, this is where I really think the gap is here, because you know, all these courses that you can pay $49.99 for, of how to learn the 78 cards in 2 hours and all that jazz, brilliant. That is awesome, because even I have undertaken some of those courses to really tune up my knowledge and understanding. But then who tells you how to deal with someone with mental health problems? Who tells you how to deal with someone with severe anxiety, or someone who's crying, or how to make the judgment between whether or not to end a call, or how to gain rapport with someone? These are none of the things that actually anybody ever deals with us. And of course, when you're one-to-one with someone, some people find that better, because you get a good mirroring going on and you understand the body language of people. However, what do you do if you're in a room alone with somebody and they're difficult to deal with? None of these things people go into. So that's what my videos are going to be about. But guys, we're 10 minutes deep. I could talk forever. I hope this has been interesting to you. Drop any comments below. Please, I'm not a person looking to do readings online or give away freebies. I'm here purely to give good informational advice on how to go from being a hobbyist to a professional reader. But if there's any subject you want me to talk about, I can go through spreads, I can go through scenarios, that kind of thing. I'm all good with that. I just don't want to be giving out readings to people because that is not what this channel is for. Drop your comments below. Thank you very much, and love and light to you all. Cheers.